Welcome Traveler, I'm free-to-play and I'm a guide for successful free-to-play adventure on Terra. Today we'll take Sarisa to the most difficult battles of the game up to date. We're starting with a Master Floor 12, where I never thought it would be even easier with a General Prue and Sarisa instead of taking Fiore EX with me, who's a limited character. I'm swapping the strategy from this video a bit so that I'm using the Desperate Resolve instead of switching to the back row where Cecily was sitting in the first video. But now when we have Sarisa, she can come to the front, switch back to Serenoa instantly, so that we have Serenoa in the front always taking the damage. So Backdraft is the only move Sarisa has which does take 2 shields single target. But this is totally enough, as you will see in the upcoming minutes, because the most difficult part was that Serenoa survives the attacks. But I will use Espionage to take down the physical attack of her. And this is why all the attacks which she's doing are not as impactful as in the last video. So I don't have to use Primrose to get the Warrior's Vaults up to have even more defense on Serenoa. Also, I don't need Serenoa to have more speed to delay Barricane's next move so that I can break him. Sarisa is now fast enough so that she can break her, because her ultimate is taking 5 shields on a single enemy, which is really amazing. I can only use it once, but it is fine, because when Barricane is not there anymore, I can go for her move, which is doing 4 random target shield breaking, but then only Icurlo stands, so it doesn't even matter. So here comes the heavenly gift I just talked about, 5 shields with really impressive damage, but this is not why I'm using her. It is because she makes everything just so smooth. Having one provoking in front of her is just enormously powerful when she can return all the time. The damage from Eliza and Varkin is still very nice. Normally I would go for Serenoa's ultimate so that everyone in the front gets 1 BP back so that they can use a stronger attack while breaking, but it is totally fine. With the next ultimates both of them can launch, and when Serenoa got vanquished and Sarisa is in the front, when she is using one of her attacks she gets to the back immediately after that. So it is still no problem surviving all those hits. But the really important thing is that she is faster than the enemy in front of you. You have to make sure that you come prepared here. Because of one of Icurlo's thunder attacks, everyone in the front got slower, so the Desperate Resolve was casted a bit too late. But I was lucky, and it doesn't even matter now, because Barricane is gone for good at this moment, so that everyone can heal up properly and won't get damaged as hard. And because of the Espionage, the attack down was still granted on Icurlo, so she was weaker and the dual blade didn't strike as hard on my units. So this move is just amazing. And now I start shield shaving for the upcoming break on Icurlo, and you see the blood ladder just hit 3 times, but even if it hit 5 times it would be so weak that it is not mattering at all. So I don't have to use a Warrior's Vault still, and I can only concentrate on debuffing and shaving shields all the time, and everything she is doing is not affecting me at all. The Verse of Valor has been stacked on the Masterful Cheers, so that Stat and Primrose got the 30% cap of elemental attack, and because I don't know what to do with Lynette anymore, I just switch back so that everyone gets the 10% up. And now we're going for the last shield shave to make sure that we have at least 4 turns now doing the last amount of HP Icurlo has. All the preparation for the break is done now, and we are breaking with Sarisa because she's the fastest now, and she has 2 accessories which reduces wind resistance down and dark resistance down, so that we have 10% more damage on Stat and Primrose, and Stat gets even more elemental attack because of Downbox Thetis. And the Child of the Dance is making this even better, and because of the switching, Primrose also also got the 10% elemental attack up passive. Together with Eliza, she's capping now the 30%. And you can see it with the damage, it is really enormous. The Duskfall is doing good damage. I still forgot to give stat the Duskfall potency up on the Fortune weapon. But you see, it doesn't really matter. The damage is really good. And after this break, we only need one more attack of the front row and then she's gone for good. So the last battle with general pool units, I just lost to the Master Floor 12 and I used lots of tries because there was so much going wrong in the first turns. But with this team composition, it was just a piece of cake here. So having Sarisa with you makes this just so enormously easy. Even if the damage done was not that high, it is more of making everything more fluent and to have that feeling that everything is under control, which I really like, I must admit. So Stat is going for the last attack here. The Foolish Judgment is doing lots of damage here and is ending this battle. And I won't go through the whole team composition part because I have mentioned it in the last video I just linked to you, but I will talk about Sarisa's equipment here a bit. I just gave her a Fortune Dagger which I prepared for another battle, and this is granting lots of speed. But having the speed around 550 is enough to be faster than Barricane. So it doesn't have to be like that. But try to do it with a Fortune Dagger because then you have the possibility to give her the accessories which I gave her, so that you have an even better time in doing more damage to Icurlo in the last phase of the battle, because the defenses of Icurlo just grew a bit from the original, so you have to make sure to improve the damage a bit. Instead of Kurt's A4 and Varkin, you could also use Kota's Right Glove to improve the damage even further in the first stage of the battle, but I just didn't change so much in between this battle. I just tossed Sarisa in and tried it out, and it worked so well in the first try that I thought, okay, I won't improve here anymore. If you're missing out on a bit of damage, you can still improve here a bit to do even better. And do you know which fight was also very easy with Sarisa? It was this dragon. And I didn't have to use Fiore EX and A2 like in this video shown. And this is really amazing. And I must admit, it was even easier with this team composition in comparison with Fiore EX, because she had one real problem. Her defenses were not as high. And if the dragon is not using the attacks you want to counter, then you have to repeat your run. And I must say, having Sarisa in the back, who can decrease the physical and elemental attack as Viola can, they can both cap the attack of the dragon and you don't need Eliza anymore. In this case, Eliza and Richard maybe are not needed for another team composition, because you don't need the dual strike and the elemental rune as I used in the previous battles against the dragon. And having the flame blade scheme is also capping the sword resistance down together with Richard now. So this is enormously powerful, because all of your sword attacks are now hitting really hard for the whole battle now without using the rippling slice over and over again. And you can see it here, Serenoa tanks the damage so good. But there's one downside of this team composition, and I want to talk about it right now. If you don't shave enough shields before the dragon is going into the aura attack, then the damage done will be still too high and Serenoa can't take it. But having Sarisa in the back makes it not as problematic as I thought at first, because we can shave so much shield that it doesn't really matter. And because I didn't have enough turns before the aura attack to improve everyone's damage, I just decided to do it now and to strike really hard in the next turn. I am not really afraid to not do enough damage over the course of the battle now. I just cap everyone's attack up and the dragon's attack and defense down, so that over the long run I will win at the end. So after the break, the best thing to do is to just break enough shields, because you can't know which of those weaknesses gets locked. And now we're at 19 shields with Ophelia's Heaven's Judgment. So when they get not blown away by this wind attack, we can shave so much shields. And this is the most promising weakness lock here, but I promise you, there is going to come a very bad weakness lock, but I will get around that. And Sarisa is helping here so much with breaking the shield regardless of the weakness. So normally the second aura attack of the dragon dragon will come at turn 9, so that I have a bit of time to decrease the attack again and the defenses and to shave a few shields and of course boosting everyone's attack again. And because I improved them in the previous break, they have not capped down, so I just extended the buff now. So the promised aura attack would come now at turn 10 and we have only one shield left. The Wild Blazing Slash is doing huge damage and even the Hawk Dive with 72,000, but we get the 15% physical attack up from Sarisa. So even when she is in the back, she helps so much. And before the provoke ends, I just extend the provoke here and go for a little bit of damage afterwards, trying to increase the sword rest down, which did help here, and strengthening everyone's defense a bit again. So the good thing about this wind blowing everyone back is that it can miss. Of course Ophelia is reflecting and the wind missed Richard, so I can still go for 9 shields now, which is fine I guess. But if the aura attack would come in turn 14 now, which occurred very often to me, then it would be very problematic. So we have to save a lot of shields now, not having the light weakness. But sadly the attack down has to be extended now and the defense has to be buffed now too again. So with this weakness lock I'm only able to shave 13 shields, and with only 20 at the end of this turn the dragon would have still 7 shields left. But I was lucky here that the dragon didn't go for the aura attack this turn. But I still have Ophelia's ultimate which I would use in that case, and maybe that would prevent me from resetting the game at this time. So I can't say for sure that that would be the end of this run. So 7 shields still and no aura attack, so we're going to extend the defense down here and going for the last shield. And because the Veil of Atonement was also reduced, I also needed to cast that again. So we're left at 2 shields again and the dragon wants to finally go for the aura attack. So because now we're going over the middle of the X symbol, we would now run into the problem of this dragon going into his berserk mode. So I have the Prayer of the Virtuous to guard us against the next wind attack, which would blow everyone to the back, which will not happen in that case. So after the break I can still use a lot of shield breaking moves, which I will need to do the last amount of damage to the dragon. The Raging Slash defense down is lasting now for 3 turns cause of Viola, and the Mighty Leading Assault doing really good damage and also increasing the attack of the warriors in the front, which we will need for the upcoming turns. But I talked about a very bad weakness lock, didn't I? And after this turn you will see the sword weakness get locked, but it will still work because we're able to shave lots of shields in this turn, thanks to the Heavenly Gift, to the Wild Blazing Blade, Rippling Slice and the Heaven's Judgment. We're reducing the dragon's shield count by 19, which is so much. It really helps with the next weakness lock to do the last amount of shields to get in the last 4th break. And because Sarisa being so fast, her burst step and Viola's Crimson Blast acting before the dragon is attacking is helping here a lot. And Serenoa can still tank extremely well here. And you see we're left at 5 shields at the end and the dragon doesn't want to go into the aura attack now. But I go for the break now because the sword attack up on the warriors is still active for 2 turns, and I'm going to make use of that and shift to the Crusader's Prayer to do even more damage with the last turn I want to invest into defeating the dragon. And this will be enough for taking it out, and this with one really strong Hawk Dive. So thanks Serenoa for tanking so well in this battle, oh my god. So the team composition didn't change so much in comparison to the last team I used in the video I linked before, but you will need Serenoa at the speed of around 500, and having Sarisa at around that speed too would be very good, because otherwise Sarisa would be in the front when she would be gusted to the front and can't act with one of her skills and teleport to the back so that Serenoa can still guard the next attacks. The handcuffed woodwork and Triss special seasoning give lots of HP to Serenoa, which I found very necessary, and the innocent dancing shoes and the faded Knight's Ardent Metal are boosting the defenses from Serenoa even more. So Sarisa is missing out a bit of attacking power on her fortune dagger, but this is totally fine because I needed those two accessories on her, and I couldn't buff the speed of Sarisa with other accessories as much as I needed it, because it should be around 500 to act before the dragon. And apart from that, those two accessories were really important to buff Serenoa's defense even more. So as I said in the last video, she is the unit I was missing in those two battles, and I really enjoyed taking her with me, and I will enjoy taking her to the next battles too. And I would also enjoy if you subscribe to my channel and give thumbs up to this video. See you next time, you're free to play.